Welcome everybody to the June 11th, 2026 ESS Finance Subcommittee meeting. We will start with the May 7th, 2026 summary of subcommittee actions, the minutes. Did everyone have a chance to review those? Any changes, comments, modifications? Hearing none, I will take a motion for approval.
And move to approve.
Thanks, Mel. Do I have a second?
This is Sherry. I'll second.
Thanks, Sherry. It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, we'll move on to the accounts receivable update on page 7 with Lisa.
Okay, let me get this up here. Hold on 1/2 second. Okay, everything on here is related to maintenance payments that are due, and I believe Samantha sent reminders to everyone. If she hasn't done that, she will get those out shortly, and we'll ask them to pay as soon after July 1st as possible. All of the service providers have been paid.
Great.
All of them have now been paid. We had one that was lingering, and it is complete.
Awesome. That's wonderful. Thanks, Lisa. Does anybody have any questions? Oh, Sherry.
Sure.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Go ahead. Lisa, go ahead.
I was going to say the same thing. Make the shared screen bigger if possible.
Okay. All right. Anybody else have questions or comments? Thank you, Lisa. Let's move on to the June summary of the May ESS payments with Samantha.
Accounts payable for May, you will see, sorry, my highlights are gone. You will see 3 Connectify bills here. We did have 3 payroll periods hitting in the month of May. You will also see on the 4th line down here for $83,100, the first payment to COT for our notification system. And then an extra bill from Iowa Solutions for a little bit of additional services for the new office setup that occurred in April for $82.50. The Avenue maintenance fee bill would arrive in May, and that is paid for $3,319.10. And then the next several invoices are for mileage reimbursement for the ESS coordinating meeting during the month. The $224.75 for Lisa was for Jamie and Lisa to go and participate in the district meeting in Charles City. And then the $29 here to Polk County Recorder was a payment for a submission for this law firm. Something happened to one of their staff members and the account was no longer able to be used. So they sent us a check and then we reimbursed Polk County by check as well. And then at the very bottom, the TML property is just a reminder, this is our rent for the new office and we do pay the month prior for $3,472. For credit cards, at the very top, you'll see the tax refund for MailChimp. When we changed that address, they took our tax exemption off of our account. That was figured out and the refund was received in May for the April invoice. The $159.99 was for additional items for the new office purchased from Amazon. Just a reminder, this account is tax exempt, so there won't be any refunds coming from any of the Amazon purchases. The $17.98 was also from Amazon for an extra plug-in for one of the offices. $645 was for one in-person registration and one virtual registration for the email conference. And then the $817.25, this is for Jamie's stay at the annual conference. However, this has not actually hit our account yet. However, we did make the purchase. So once she checks in, this will hit our account. $66.98 was for Crystal Clear for water for the office. If you come to our office for our open house, you can try our water out of the faucet. You'll want to spit it out immediately. It's really bad, even with coffee. The $228.79 was for Palmer's for the ESS coordinating meeting that was in-house during the month. And then the $15 for donuts was also for the ESS coordinating meeting. And then you'll see one more bill from Crystal Clear. This will be a monthly expense going forward. However, that first delivery, they just wanted to make sure that we were okay and that we had enough water for the month. I would be happy to answer any questions on the payment reports for May.
Thanks, Samantha. Any questions from the group? Comments, concerns? Guys are pretty quiet this morning. Hearing none, I would go ahead and take a motion for approval.
This is Mel, I can make that motion.
Thanks, Mel. Do I have a second? Looks like Amy in the chat seconded. It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, we'll move on to the bulk of the packet, right? Well, not really. The June Fund 255 reimbursement invoice. Sorry, Samantha.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
This will look a little bit different this month. So the June reimbursement will be $92,199.38. So this is due from the February reconciliation where our money was actually put into someone else's account. And then the money was found in March. So the February money normally would be in the April invoice. So you'll see in a little bit here that we don't have any invoice sent to the state treasurer in April. And so this is the catch up for this. So this is to cover the March payroll invoices and then also the May invoices. I'd be happy to answer.
Natalie, yeah, question. So we send them the money and they just put it in the wrong account?
Yes. I didn't get a ton of details, but it did take about a month and a half to find that money. And once they found it, they put it back in our account, but it is 2 months later than normal.
Interesting.
Natalie, it's Lisa. It's very unusual because the money goes to the state treasurer's office somehow from the DOT. So I don't know who your auditor or treasurer sends it to, but it goes to the DOT who then forwards it to the treasurer. And that's how it was set up oh so many years ago.
Right. Yeah, I feel like that's the first time I've heard of, at least, that it hasn't got to the correct account. So that's uncommon, it sounds like.
I'm glad that it got found.
Right?
So, I mean, so all we can do is keep on keeping on. So does anyone have any other comments or questions about that?
Sorry, it's me again. Yes. So
Go
how
ahead.
was it found, or how do we make sure it doesn't happen again? I mean, what do we do on our end to see that it's credited? Do we get anything?
Well, honestly, it's the money that we give our treasurer, and they're supposed to submit it by the 10th of the, or we're supposed to submit it to our county treasurers by the 10th of the month. and then we don't see it. I mean, as recorders, so
Well, right, so was this for like one county or was this for all counties?
It was all of it.
I assumed, okay.
so I don't know if they wait until they get everybody's, and then I don't know the process on that side with the DOT.
Yeah, they must
So,
wait till they get everything into like one
and
fund
then one
account.
swoop,
It
or
looks like, for it to be all of that.
yeah. So,
I think that Samantha noticed that the funds weren't there and she immediately went back to our contact at the treasurer's office because we get a financial statement every month and she said, okay, where's our deposit? It's not here. Let's find out where it is.
Yeah.
And so then they were able to determine it went to an incorrect account. I would have to say, there's been a lot of turnover in the treasurer's office in the last few years. We used to have an amazing representative, Sherry, that she retired several years ago, but she was always on top of it. And she would call us and explain the mistakes that we had made, so which was great. Did you really mean to do this? No, you're correct. I did not. So, but Samantha's done a great job staying on top of it and keeping up with them. And I think maybe we've established a new contact there that will be helpful.
Yes, we
Okay.
started receiving reconciliations for the month prior instead of 3 weeks later, like 2 days after the reconciliation is done.
Good,
Perfect.
good.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Samantha, very much. So, any other comments or questions? If not, I would take a motion for approval.
This is Natalie. I'll make that motion.
Thanks, Natalie. Do I have a second?
This is Sherry. I can second. Oh, Amy
Sure.
beat me to it.
Oh, okay. Okay, it's been moved and seconded. There is a comment. I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time keeping track of who moved and then the chat. So I don't know if we can, as a team, try and get the comments in the chat if they come up, if they're not more than just an I. Is that okay, guys? Or Sherry, maybe as a
Yeah.
co-chair, if you could help
Yep.
me a little bit. I feel like I'm missing some of the chat dialogue, and I apologize for that, but it's
I'll
on my
keep track of
screen.
that for you, Stacy.
Okay. Do you want to go ahead and share Phil's?
Yep.
Okay,
Phil
thanks.
says the people in the treasurer's office have very little history. This is why we propose changing the process of the modernization legislation in 2025. Obviously, those changes were not adopted. And
Yes.
thanks for the update, Sam.
Okay. Awesome. Okay. So I'm back to, it's been moved and seconded. Natalie and Amy. All in favor say aye, and we are on the June Fund 255 reimbursement invoice payment approval.
Aye.
All in favor say
Aye.
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 And there's ayes in the chat.
Okay. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, now we'll move on to the April 2026 financial reports. Thanks, guys.
The Bankers Trust settlement account opened with the beginning balance of $0 and closed with a balance of $0. And the account was successfully reconciled for the month of April. The Bankers Trust Money Market Sweep account opened with a beginning balance of $1,015,027.43 and closed with a balance of $1,287,671.44. The interest rate for that account for April was 2.53%. During the month, we did earn $2,429.92. And the reconciliation for the money market sweep account. And the drawdown account with a cleared balance of $88,805. Budgeted only profit and loss for the month of April. Budgeted income came in at $127,154.86. with budgeted expenses of $125,318.95, with a budgeted net income of $1,835.91. For the total profit loss for the month of April, again, budgeted income at 127,000. Revolving income came in at $3,825,344.54, with a gross profit of $3,952,499.40. Again, budgeted expenses at about 125,000, and then the difference between the budgeted only profit and loss and this profit and loss would be these reserve expenses, back file redaction, office fixtures and equipment that were purchased for the new office, the software development and consulting, that would be the Visionary project, for the public facing website. So planned reserve expenses of $10,181.32. And then the depreciation expense of about $18,000. With revolving expenses of $3,831,002.96. With total expenses at $3,984,840.25. With a net income of negative $32,340.85. If we compare April 2025 to 2026, the money market interest is up almost double. And then the bad payment fees. So during the month of April 2026, we had one submitter whose credit card charged back every single transaction for several months. This has since been received. POS income is down quite a bit, almost 50%. We're expecting this to jump back up next year, but we did lower the budget to reflect the changes that we're seeing. Service fees are up 13.9%, or $13,821.57. And then here you'll see that the Fund 255 reimbursement invoice for April was $0 during this year. Gross profit down 28.3%, mostly due to that Fund 255 income not being received or noticed during the month. Human resources expenses, still seeing this down even with the bringing on of a couple new employees during the year. And then this $92 for insurance expense. So with the move to the new office and the changes that we had during the month, we did owe an extra $92. However, we will be getting reimbursed some of this money when the bill comes in, I believe at the end of this month or early July. Office space lease up a little bit. This is for the Johnson office and the new West Des Moines office, both being paid during the month. Internet down $150 or 60%. We were able to get a pretty good deal at the new office that wasn't available at our old office. So this will be a constant $100 going forward. Then office tech support with the all the new setup at the new office. This was higher than expected. And then the miscellaneous expense here, the $150. This was for flowers for one of our ESS coordinating members who had a death in the family, and then also for shredding some of the old documents from the old office. POS transaction fees are down compared to last year, about 32%. That's because of the decrease in transactions. Then the majority of this stuff, not too many changes. The budgeted expenses were up only 1% compared to last year, and then net income down 96%. But again, this is mostly due to not having a Fund 255 reimbursement invoice during the month. The balance sheet, the settlement, Bankers Trust settlement account was $727,357.64. Just a reminder, this is not the actual bank balance, and this accounts for all the unreconciled transactions in our accounting software. With the money market sweep account at $1,287,671.44. With total assets and liabilities equaling $2,779,494.63. Journal entries for the month of April. Excuse me. The majority of these entries are the daily entries that I make moving money in and out of the money market sweep account and settlement account. And then the few highlighted entries here are moving money into the reserve accounts. And the depreciation entry for the month. And then moving the visionary expense to the reserve. The credit card account opened with beginning balance of $999.49 and ended with a balance of $1,068.93. This is the old credit card with the Johnston address on it. And the new credit card opened with a beginning balance of $11,805.14 and ended with a balance of $3,335.80. We are in the process of getting all vendors off of that old credit card account. I think we just have 2 more, and then hopefully in the month, when we cover the month of June, that will be the last financial reports with that old credit card on it. And the credit card account was successfully reconciled. Fund 255 for the month of April opened with a beginning balance of $116,164.28 and ended with a balance of $208,363.66. The total receipts of $92,199.38 which is consistent with the Fund 255 reimbursement invoice that was approved earlier in the meeting. And the reconciliation for the Fund 255 account. And the profit and loss with net income of $92,199.38. With assets and liabilities equaling $208,363.66. I'd be happy to answer any questions on the financial reports for the month of April.
Thanks, Samantha. I just have one comment I wanted to make regarding the payment for the flowers, the miscellaneous expense. I know that I emailed you all. We had a question from our district about flowers for Julie Haggerty's dad that passed away, and regarding any kind of precedence. And I just wanted to say that there's really no written policy in our policies and procedures or manual for ILR. And as a reminder, I'm just reading from my email. As a reminder, the funds used to pay the miscellaneous expense for ESS is based on user fees, not taxpayer dollars. And our financials go through a yearly audit. I went back to through a lot of the old reports and found that when we do these nice gestures for our ILR team and our families and also those that have taken a lot of time to serve on the ESS coordinating committee board and also the ESS finance. Those are really appreciated by those people that have these losses. So I went back and found that the flowers that we've sent in the past, 2 or 4 ESS committee members that lost their father or spouse, 2 recorders that passed away, and the rest were for other ILR staff. So I just wanted to make that on the public meeting that that's all I wanted to say about that. So any other questions or comments regarding the financials that for April that Sam went through? Hearing none, I would take a motion for approval.
This is Sherry. I'll move to approve.
Thanks, Sherry. Do I have a second?
This is Mel, I can second.
Thanks, Mel. Thanks, Mel. It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, we'll move on to the ESS financial and strategic review.
Okay, this is the Fund 823 account. So when the project first started, the recording fees were bumped up a little bit to $4, instead of the $1. And I'm actually gonna maybe ask if Bill would be okay sharing a little bit of background on this, or maybe Lisa.
Go ahead, Phil.
I'm happy to help. So, in the beginning, should I start that way?
Yes.
The legislature passed a supplementary $5 fee that lasted for 1 year. And that supplemental fee was divided in 2 ways. $1 of it was allocated specifically for the project, and $4 of it was actually allocated for use by the counties. Originally, the monies were in the 99 counties had their own accounts for it, and we actually started the project by developing a budget, because the $1 just for the county land record information system really wasn't enough to do everything that the committee wanted to do. So a budget was put together, and every county was asked to contribute a like amount into a centralized fund that the governing committee used to pay for the development and creation of the Iowa land record system originally. Anything that was not part of that budget was remaining in the county coffers for their use for basically project-related expenses. In 2005, there were some people that were concerned that did not have enough oversight. And so the legislature passed a session law, basically, that said all of that money that was left over had to be transferred to the state treasurer's office. It could still be used for the project, but it had to be centralized and managed in an account in the state treasurer's office. And by the end of 2005, that was done. That was also kind of part of the auditing process that we went through with the state auditor's office. So that all got set up, and so it was decided that the monies that were returned by the county into this fund would be assigned to each of their counties in their respective amounts. And then over a period of time, basically, the fund was administered centrally by the governing committee and the administrative staff, and counties were asked to submit basically reimbursement invoices, for things that they had spent money on. And it was used for things like scanning equipment and technology upgrades, and we didn't place a lot of restrictions on it, but we did ask each county, because of the state requirements, to at least demonstrate that it was related to the project in some way. And that was implemented over a period of time, and every county used up their money, except I think for one. And so we have sort of this legacy amount in Fund 823. Um, most of the money in that account is related to that specific county. Some of the money, I forget the exact amount, is sort of uh, spillover, unaccounted for balance that ESS should just simply use for whatever project-related purposes there are. So it's been around for a long time. The small balances existed for quite a few years. Um, Periodically, Lisa or I have communicated and said, "Hey, would you like to spend that money?" And nothing ever really has happened. So I think the committee uh, probably is in a position to say we probably should do something with that money and close out that account because it's really an unnecessary administrative thing that the treasurer's office and the LR team has to deal with. What you do is up to you. I'm not going to make a recommendation on that, but that is what the history of this is.
Thanks, Phil. So as a finance subcommittee group, ideas, what to do with this balance?
Do we need a last and final message to say, hey, let us know by like July 1st? Otherwise, this is what's going to happen, maybe. And then we could transfer it so we aren't having to separately track it.
Right.
So we're not doing a lot of tracking, but we can certainly reach out. The
Well, I
effect,
mean, to keep it on file, to have
Right,
the separate account
right.
that we have to maintain.
right. Yeah, we can connect with the recorder. She is a member of the finance committee, so she knows we're talking about her. It is Jefferson
Right.
County. Many counties use these funds at one time to pay their maintenance fees. Jefferson County is in a position where the IT department, I believe, budgeted for the maintenance, so Kelly didn't have that. So we can talk to her about maybe something she wants to purchase for her county or determine a way that we can get the funds to their county to use for something.
I think that's giving you guys direction to work with Kelly and but I do like the establishing a deadline.
Yeah, even if it's August or, or some
And-
sort of plan.
Yeah, I think August 1st would be doable. Kelly, do you have any comments you want to add? If you can work with Lisa and the ILR team to devise a plan, and then by August 1st, if it's still in this account of 0823, then we direct, or I'm trying to think if it would probably take the ESS coordinating committee would probably need to, we can make a recommendation to move it into a miscellaneous receipt. Okay, Kelly just said in the chat, we can work with her on that. Okay, that sounds good. So does that sound okay from the members? August 1st deadline, and then we will bring this up in August, kind of circle back.
Works for me.
Is that Matt? Okay.
I think it's good.
Sounds good. Okay.
There's
Okay.
a couple more. Sounds good.
Yep.
Good idea, Amy. Yes,
Thanks.
Susan.
Okay. Thank you, guys. Okay, so we'll go on to the main metrics.
I can jump in here. We were up about 800 documents last month over the prior month. So it's still up, but not as much as previously. June looks to be good. Through yesterday, 13,874 documents had been recorded electronically. So we're off to a good start. This morning looked busy. Some of you can probably give some what Phil would call anecdotal responses on that, but it looked like it was pretty busy this morning. So a busy time for everybody.
Mhm. Great, thanks, Lisa. Let's go on to the Denman audit update.
Okay. Last week we did receive our full draft, packet from Denman. Jamie and I went through that and we had just a couple edits, and then, Jamie will provide her management response. And hopefully we can put that, packet out for the finance committee, in the July packet, and then we will cover that in the August packet or August meetings.
And Robert will probably join us in August.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, thanks, Samantha. The ILR public site redesign project, is Kristen still on? Do you want to talk about that with Visionary?
Hi. Yeah, so we actually just met with Visionary yesterday, Jamie and I. The team has gone through many live pages on the site, so we're making some tweaks and getting that cleaned up so that we can host a um, review with our focus group on a week from today. So we'll have our focus group, which is made up of some county recorders throughout the state. And when I say throughout the state, we have those guys are from all over. There's about 10 on our focus group committee, and they'll be joining us online. So it'll be a virtual review, and I'm going to take them through some tests, keep it pretty open, and just see, what are some things that you would click on first on the home page. If you were trying to do something as a visitor on our website, can you find it? Basic things like that. So we're cleaning up the site. It is taking a bit of time to accomplish some of the more complicated features. We're doing something fun with the recorder's directory because we're looking at something like an interactive map where you could click on to see your county information. And we're also preparing pages for search tips and a landing page with information on our property notification system. While those won't be launched when the website is, we'll have those pages ready. So yet we'll have those resources available throughout the year, and generally aim to give any of our users or anyone looking to learn more about county recorders or Iowa land records, we're looking to give them a better experience to interact with us when they come to visit our website.
That's great. I like that you've already getting those landing pages ready for the upcoming notification system. So that's awesome.
Yeah, I'm really excited. This is a fun project. It's a big project, but it's one that we've been looking forward to for years. So we've learned a lot based on how people are using the website now, and we're just going through and improving it.
Awesome. Any other comments or questions about the redesign, the website?
I just wanted to express my thanks to those who have volunteered to be on that committee. Great that you have such a large group.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, we'll move on to, oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Natalie. I'm sorry.
Again, like a deadline or a go live, what's what you're thinking?
I think Jamie can chime in on this too, but we were talking about some very complicated updates. So our launch date may be a little later than we were anticipating. Our target date is still the end of June. But as of today, I can't confidently have a go live date. It is possible it could be early July or sometime in July, but right now we're still pushing to try to do the end of June. But the main thing is we want to make sure that everything is working and you have a good navigation experience when you visit the site. We don't want to launch anything that has any bugs or issues. So we're gonna we're being very thorough with our testing and updates, which is taking a little longer than anticipated because there's so much to this rebuild. So I will keep you guys updated as soon as we have that. We're actually going to reassess and try to figure out uh, an updated timeline sometime next week after we get these initial updates in place.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate, yeah, I'd rather have it done
And
correctly the first time, so.
and yeah, thank you. And what we learned from our focus group on Thursday too will kind of dictate that a little bit as well, because this will really be their first time being able to click through the site. They've seen some live pages, but we their next Thursday will be the first time they'll get to actually click through and give us very valuable feedback to say, hey, this looks great here, or can we move this or that somewhere else? Because you guys have a very different perspective, and our focus group is very hands-on. Um, it's a very open discussion that we track. So I'm really excited because they've already given some initial feedback for us on the site, but Thursday is going to be huge.
Thanks, Kristen.
Just to chime in on that, I feel like for the website redesign, we have a lot of the structure completed. And I feel like that is one of the most difficult parts of a website redesign is to build out the structure and have that same vision for what that platform is going to look like for the user to go through the process and the multiple transactions that happen on ILR. So at this point, I think we're really looking at content, filling in the gaps, making sure it's right. And I think, yeah, like Kristen said, we will see some feedback from the focus group, next week. But I do think we're still on track for late June, early July. So yeah, we're really excited about it.
Thanks, Jamie. Any other comments or questions?
It's exciting. It's going to be a great refresh.
Mhm. Okay, so let's move on to the ILR property notification system.
And Susan said, thank you. Great news in the chat.
Thanks, Sherry. You're doing a awesome job.
I'm a little distracted with the thunder and lightning and rain, you can probably tell.
Yeah. Okay. Jamie, would you like to comment start off?
Sure.
Okay,
Sure.
thanks.
I'll start off. And so we successfully finished that work authorization 2 with COD. And Phil and Noah worked on the work authorization 3. And we've identified a lot of great UI pages and have a great plan for that. And I'll let Phil go into the details, but we were able to get done everything we had hoped for in our second work authorization. So Phil, did you want to talk about the work authorization 3 and the expected outcomes?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I wonder if I could ask Samantha to stop sharing and allow me to share.
Sure.
And I'll just bring a copy of the most recent work authorization. I just sent you a share request.
There you go.
Okay. All right, you should be able to see the work authorization now. So, just by way of background, as Jamie said, we're just starting phase 3. That is starting this week, and phase 2 I would characterize as sort of the scaffolding or the infrastructure for the project. So, in summary, um, we have to have an ability to have users. Um, Save a notification profile. And that means there needs to be a table in the system that will keep track of the names of the profiles, the name that is being checked or monitored. Um, there, um, there just needs to be an association with the particular user, uh, and it did take some effort to create that infrastructure. And we actually have added a new component into the database that associates a user ID with each user separate from their username. And we had to do that because we do have situations where the same user may need to change their username. And in fact, somebody else might grab that username. So to keep everything unique, we're assigning a user ID to them. And the issue associated with that is that we are implementing a rule that basically says we will keep sending notifications or keep monitoring, or I should say, keep sending notifications as long as your account remains active. Uh, and so if the user becomes deactivated and then they get reactivated, we want to preserve, any of their name profiles so they don't have to start all over again. So that is something that was incorporated into phase two that infrastructure is there. Then in addition to that, the infrastructure for keeping track of each daily set of activity, because we're going to check the entire database every day, we're going to just look at the most recently uploaded documents. And by that, I mean, reality is that not every county gets their documents uploaded the same day. And so the trigger that we're looking at is we're looking at a set of documents that were transferred from the county to the Iowa Land Records database on the previous day. And then that needs to go into a separate table that is then monitored and checked to see if there are any matches with the name and notification profiles that have been created. Then once you have that, then you have a methodology of being able to connect to the Iowa Land Records SMTP email system to say, okay, now send a notification email to that user. So in a fairly simplified way, that describes how the notification system is going to work. And so the creation of those tables and setting up the design of that. There also was some work, not a lot of work, but some work done on the workflow associated with the user interface for not only the users, but also for county recorders and our ESS administrative team. So, as Jamie said, most of that work is complete. There are a few things that are being carried over, but I would just characterize where we're at as being on target and on schedule. So what you have here is the actual work authorization that we recently developed in collaboration with Todd on what phase three is going to look like. And it's described as utilities and life cycles. The way I would describe it is that you have these tables now, the infrastructure is built, and now you have to tie them all together. Need to stitching them together so that the right pieces are talking to each other, the information is being shared correctly, and the communication with the central authentication system is working correctly so that we can have the notification system understand and know that a user is either active or inactive. Those types of pieces have to be there, uh, and uh, and that really is in at a very high level. That is what the system works. Now, if you create a table that has a previous day's uploads in it, and you run the matching service on it, and then you initiated the notification uh, that go out there. You also have to save that data in a history table and in an archive, which are two separate things. And those things have also been created in phase two. In order to be able to do what you need to do in the next business day when you have a whole new set of uploaded documents. Before you finish, you have to purge everything that you just did. So you have an empty table. Because we just don't want to accumulate a big table and keep doing things over and over again. So you can see one of the functions that has to be developed is to create those nightly purge jobs to sort of clear the desk so that the matching service can run again the next day. Another thing that we spent a lot of time talking about is in terms of the email. How is that going to work? How are we going to pay attention to that? And we, uh, you don't always know whether your email is successful. So one of the things that they'll be paying attention to, that we will be paying attention to in the process is, did those emails go through? Did they bounce? And basically, the rule that's being set up is that if an email bounces 3 times, then it's going to throw an error, and then the ILR administrative team will be notified to determine, some communication needs to happen with that user, or maybe they aren't using the system anymore and should be deactivated. Um, so uh, they're behind the scenes, and this is not addressed directly in the work authorization, but uh, it is a set of activities that are sort of in the court of the ILR internal development team to make a few changes in the ILR system that would um, maybe extend the time frame for an account to be active, because right now it's 120 days, and maybe extend the time frame when uh, uh, passwords have to be updated. Now, the intention is to keep the rules as they are today if you are a user who has access to payment, or basically if you're an accountant that you also have access to payment. Um, Security standards suggest that those people should have a higher security standard. But if you're a regular user, that can be stretched out. Another thing that is sort of in the court of the internal ILR development team is the actual creation of the templates of the emails. The ones that say, hey, user, we just got a notification that you got a notification that the name you were monitoring, we have a match, and here is the information that you need. Um, so those aren't necessarily in catch court, but Pat has to, in this phase, be able to deliver the information that needs to go into each one of those emails. So if you can imagine a template, it's going to have several places in it where information is inserted from the database, from the notification system itself. And that is going to have to be incorporated as well. In summary, where we are at is the scaffolding has been built, the tables have been built, some of the user interfaces have been built, and now it's time to stitch them together. And that is going to be covered in this work authorization, which is for the period of May 11th. I'm sorry, the period of June 8th to July 5th. And I would just say that things are looking very good. The chat team has just been super to work with. We often have very frank conversations to make sure we're on the same page. And I think they're doing a very good job. So I'm looking forward to giving you an update in July, because I think a lot of things will be accomplished by then. The one thing that you will see at your June conference is that some graphic depictions of what the user interface will look like from the user point of view, and also to some extent from the recorder's point of view. Those have been developed. They're being refined right now. It will not be a live demo, but what you'll see is a sequential display of the interface as a user creates a profile and as the process unfolds. The last thing I'll mention is that something that we added to the scope of work that I'm sorry to report we did not include in the initial RFQ, but it is now included, is that we will be creating a report specifically for each county and county recorder so that you will be able to monitor the notifications that are active. That is the notification profiles and the notifications that are active in your county. So you'll have a window into that. Our administrative team will have access to some additional reports, but those are deeper into the weeds than any of you probably want to get. So, but a report that will enable you to see what's happening with the notification system in your county is going to be built as a part of this process. So that's my update for today. I would be happy to answer any questions, and I would just say I'm very grateful and excited to be able to continue and to see this part of the project to fruition.
That's great, Phil.
Anne had a comment in the chat. Having reports for insight will help us know how best to promote. Thanks.
Yeah.
I
I'd
think,
echo the thanks too.
Yeah.
I think that's a great, pivot to add that in, and
Mhm.
that'll be fantastic. Thank you.
You,
one of the things that I would just say that I think will be somewhat unique about this system, and I know some people had questions about it during the initial planning, but the matching service is going to parallel the search application. So a user is going to be able to put a name in, and the search and the matching application, the matching service will look for that exact character string in first name, last name, or organization name. Is it there or not? But users will also be able to use the wildcard. And the wildcard is going to give users more flexibility in terms of saying I want to make sure I catch everything, and just as I've demonstrated many times, if you look for my records, you can find some with the name Phil, some with the name Philip with one L, some with the name Philip with two L's, and the use of the wildcard is going to enable a user to kind of address those variations in their name profiles so that they see the things that they want to see. Um, a downside of that potentially is that, there's a possibility that a user might get more false positives than they want, but they can learn from that and make modifications to their notification profiles so that they can maybe get less of those positives while still finding what they are looking for, monitoring what they want to monitor. Um, and I think, just my opinion, is the alignment of the notification system with the search application will end up being a very, very useful combination with everybody who's a registered user, because you can rely on the notification system, or if you want to, the search is very easy too. And I'm excited about that because that that relationship would be unique um, to the Iowa system compared to anything else on the marketplace. So I'll stop there. Thanks, everybody. Hope you're doing well.
Yeah. Hey, Phil, I have one question or just a comment. So as you think about the email notification, like you get a hit and you want to send an email to the user saying, hey, your name came up or something was recorded yesterday in Story County. Is there a way that you can have them, maybe reach out to the county directly, or or maybe include, that information. So the ILR team isn't inundated with, 4 counties that all got hits and all people that are like, whoa, what's going on? So,
Well, I think in terms of communication, and Kristen and Jamie can maybe address this in their planning, but I know there's discussion planned about communications and training. Um, and generally speaking, I think the way it will work is that users are going to be guided to, if they have a question about a specific document or notification, contact the county recorder, not the LR team. But if you're having problems with the operation of the notification system or setting up a profile and those sorts of things, I know the LR team would be in a position to help. Early on, we did receive comments from you and other recorders to say, hey, I want to be able to help my customers set up their profiles. And you will be able to do that because, you're gonna be able to help guide them to set up their application for access to the system. And you'll also have knowledge uh, about their profiles because you're going to have a report that you go in and you can look it up and see what they've been doing. And then you, as a recorder, might be able to provide them with advice on, you might want to tweak your profile here a little bit. Because you're going to get too many false positives that way, or you might want to tweak it because you might be missing a few things. So, you as a recorder are going to be able to provide that kind of support to your users. And I think the intention would be on specific notifications about documents in your county, users should be directed back to you.
Awesome. Thank you. And thanks for your work on this project. Any other questions or comments for Phil, ILR team, or just for the good of the group? Oh, we've got one more. We've got the annual report. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to cut anyone short. Any other questions about the notification system, comments? Okay, we'll move to the last thing on the agenda, the ESS annual report update.
Yeah, I can talk about this. The annual report is coming along. We're looking at all the different pieces from last year that were communicated. Me in particular, I'm going through a couple of years of annual reports just to kind of get an idea of what goes in these reports every year. I've been meeting with the team, and we're looking at metrics that we want to add. We're looking at some of the legislative updates that happen. I've been meeting with Phil on that. He's been providing a lot of great guidance around what happened before March, before I was here. So we are putting together everything right now, and there are a lot of different pieces, but we're really excited to get this launched out there to the team. And we're moving on it. And it's a process, and there was a lot of information provided last year, but I have a feeling that it's going to be a great report. And again, we're focused on it right now. So just wanted to give an update. Thank you.
Thanks, Jamie, so much. Any other questions or comments for the good of the day?
So a couple updates. We all know Jamie in Adams is down. Looks like Union County is down as well today. They don't have any internet. And I got a text from Katie that her deputy has some damage, or her clerk, one or the other.
Wow. So stay safe. It sounds like it's going to be hitting all over Iowa the rest of the day, maybe more than one hit. So
Sherry, it's coming your way, friend.
We got wave one just went through. I just got a message from my husband. We had a 1.8 inches of rain between the time the meeting started and now.
Whoa.
Yeah.
wow. Well, stay safe, everybody. Our next meeting is July 9th, 2026 at 9 o'clock.
And
Thanks,
Amy in the chat pod wrote, the notification system is exciting. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, Sherry, for your
Amy.
help.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Take care, everybody.
All right, stay safe.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.